Warning, if you did not watch part 1 yet of What If Kobe Bryant Went to College, I highly suggest you do so. The link will be in the description of this video. It'll catch you up on anything you want to know, and plus, part 1 is just as entertaining as part 2. With that said, when Kobe Bryant made the decision to go to college, the ripple effect on the entire NBA was great, because not only did Kobe end up in Philly with Allen Iverson and Paul Pierce, but LeBron James is now a Golden State Warrior, Tracy McGrady is on the Boston Celtics, and Carmelo Anthony is a member of the Orlando Magic. All of these changes, along with a ton of changes to come, will completely rewrite NBA history, as the farther we go into this scenario, the more the NBA in general will look different. So who will rise up to challenge Kobe in Philly? Will LeBron help the Warriors become a dynasty of their own? We are about to see. So what's up guys, Mike here, and I'm very excited to bring you part 2 of What If Kobe Bryant Went to College. Before we jump into it, I just want to ask you two things. One, is it possible, can we get 20,000 likes on this video for part 3, the conclusion of this whole what if scenario? And 2, please subscribe and turn on post notifications, not only so you don't miss part 3, but once we hit 1.7 million subscribers on this channel, I am giving away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X to someone who is subscribed with post notifications on. With that said, let's just jump into this. So before we continue with the 2004 regular season, the 2003 offseason does give us some meaningful changes, as soon as the Orlando Magic drafted Carmelo Anthony, Lamar Odom made it clear that he was not returning to the Magic. He ends up signing with the Miami Heat, just like in real life. Meanwhile, originally Gilbert Arenas left the Warriors for the Washington Wizards, but with LeBron on his team now, he decides that is no longer the move. He stays in Golden State. And the final big move of the summer comes from the Boston Celtics, as the combination of Kenny Anderson's expiring contract combined with the decision to trade Antoine Walker to create cap space allows the Celtics to sign Andre Miller, who the Denver Nuggets no longer need because they have Chauncey Billups. This brings us to the 2004 regular season, and we're gonna start with the Boston Celtics here. They of course now have Andre Miller to help Tracy McGrady with the playmaking load, and so they win an extra 22 more games behind their core and finish second in the East with a 58-24 record. As for the number 1 seed in the East this season, the Pacers haven't really made many changes, but still they have a great team and they have a great season. Melo also has a great rookie season with the Orlando Magic. However, the team still struggles as they don't have enough talent to surround Melo with, which means they finish dead last in the entire NBA with a record of 19 wins and 63 losses. As for the Philadelphia 76ers, they are still a better team but have a disappointing season and finish as the 3rd seed. They do attempt to make a game-changing move by trading Glenn Robinson, Aaron McKee, and a promising young player in John Salmons, along with 2 future first-round picks for Rasheed Wallace, stealing him away from the Pistons in the process. However, because Allen Iverson deals with knee pain so bad that the Sixers shut him down for the 2004 playoffs, Philly ends up losing in the Eastern Conference semifinals to the Indiana Pacers, who lose to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference finals. Looking at the Western Conference in 2004, like with Melo, LeBron and Gilbert Arenas are fun to watch in Golden State, but their fun play does not lead to a playoff appearance as they finish the year with a 32-50 record. Sticking with California, the Los Angeles Clippers continue to improve, but they can't get over the hump either and miss the playoffs even with the addition of Troy Murphy. That isn't a shock, and neither is the Denver Nuggets continuing to turn heads, as behind the in-and-out combo of Chauncey Billups and an unstoppable Yao Ming to go along with the knockdown shooting of Keith Van Horn, Denver finishes as the number 4 seed in the Western Conference and eventually meets the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2nd round. Minnesota still has too much experience for Denver and sends the Nuggets home, and then in the Western Conference Finals, Kevin Garnett absolutely goes to work and shows why he is the MVP of the 2004 season. Minnesota takes down the San Antonio Spurs in 6 games, giving us a Boston Celtics Minnesota Timberwolves 2004 NBA Finals. And it's in these finals that Tracy McGrady gets the ultimate career redemption. In Game 1, he finishes with a 42-point, 13-assist, 10-rebound triple-double in a Boston win. In Game 3, he connects on back-to-back huge three-pointers in the 4th quarter that helps Boston clinch another victory. And then, finally, in Game 6, it's Andre Miller who goes on his own personal 8-0 run in the 3rd quarter, giving Boston a huge lead, where from there, they cruise to an NBA Finals clinching victory, completely rewriting the career of Tracy McGrady. Completing the season, LeBron is still the Rookie of the Year, and now it is the 2004 NBA draft. And just like in the real 2004 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic still land Dwight Howard with the #1 pick, but they take him in a completely different scenario, as now Dwight teams up with a young and upcoming all-star in Joe Johnson and a young and upcoming star in Carmelo Anthony. So with this core, it'll be very interesting to see what the Magic are able to accomplish going forward. As for pick number 2, in the real 2004 draft, the Suns were loaded and just traded away their #7 pick to the Bulls for cash. Literally. However, in this NBA, because the Suns are not paying Joe Johnson, who is on the Magic, they keep their second pick and take Ben Gordon. Moving down, the two other most notable picks here are that the Cavs attempt to replace LeBron James with Luol Deng, who is a future All-Star but not a future MVP, and the Warriors add a huge piece to their future core as they take Andre Iguodala at pick number 8, which means at least for now, Iggy and LeBron will be teaming up in Golden State rather than battling it out in the NBA Finals against each other. Finishing off this draft, the Bulls also end up with Sean Livingston, the Rockets keep their pick and take Al Jefferson, and now we're in the 2004 NBA offseason, where just to start off, Shaq still goes to Miami as Wade is still there to team up with him, and Lamar Odom is still there to make this trade happen. The Magic also still get Hedo Turkoglu, which is big, and as for an actual change, the Denver Nuggets trade Marcus Camby and Nene to the Memphis Grizzlies for Mike Miller and Stromile Swift, fulfilling the Grizzlies' need for a center and the Nuggets' need for more wing shooting. Now we're in the 2005 regular season, where the Orlando Magic begin to turn heads as the next force to be reckoned with. They play a similar spread out style around Dwight Howard, except they also have an incredible ISO scorer in a young Melo. This means they win 8 more games, make the playoffs, and fall to the Boston Celtics in the second round. As for the most meaningful loser in the East this season, the Washington Wizards drop an extra 20 games in an absolutely dreadful season. Now in the West though, in the middle of this season, Golden State is able to move Andre Iguodala to the Bulls for Tyson Chandler, as Chicago is able to get a potential future All-Star while the Warriors finally get a young defensive anchor that they desperately need. Because of this trade, Golden State becomes a dangerous team in the West as they win 53 games with a monster season from LeBron as he begins to take a leap and the NBA begins to see he is already one of the best players in the entire league. The Warriors season does end up with a first-round loss to the Dallas Mavericks, but you can be sure they will be back. And the Denver Nuggets are no longer an emerging team, they're here. They win 63 games and are the second seed in the entire Western Conference. However, they are not able to reach the NBA Finals. It is the Phoenix Suns who reach new heights as Steve Nash finally gets the chance to play in the NBA Finals. As for the Philadelphia 76ers, we have not mentioned them yet this season as they had an underwhelming regular season with just a 3rd seed finish. However, in the 2005 NBA playoffs, Kobe and Tracy McGrady match up in an absolute battle in the Eastern Conference Finals. The two trade blows, but when it's all said and done, Philly comes through in Game 7 as while Kobe has a solid game with 28 points, it's Allen Iverson who has a big time 39 points in a Philly win. This means that we've got a 76ers vs Phoenix Suns 2005 NBA Finals, and the Suns 7 seconds or less style gives us a highly entertaining series. Phoenix actually pulls off Game 1 as Nash records 24 points and 18 assists, but then Philly comes back in Game 2 behind 32 points from Paul Pierce. This is a very even series, and it comes down to this. In Game 7 of the NBA Finals, Allen Iverson torches the Suns for 23 first half points. However, Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire just proved to be unstoppable, and the Phoenix Suns actually lead at the half. Fast forward to a minute and a half left in the fourth, and the Sixers, down by 1, get the ball to Rasheed Wallace, who scores, giving them the lead. On the other end, Ben Gordon misses a huge 3, and in transition, Kobe is able to convert and give Philly a 3-point lead that they will never give up. Yes, that is correct. The Philadelphia 76ers win their 3rd championship of the Kobe Bryant era, although at least in some sort of consolation, Steve Nash was named MVP this season, and in terms of Rookie of the Year, Dwight Howard takes home that award. Now looking at the 2005 NBA Draft, one of the biggest moves comes in the form of some previous trades, because based on past events, the Denver Nuggets now own the Washington Wizards pick, which means
with the 3rd pick in the 2005 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Darren Williams from the University of Illinois.
It is the Denver Nuggets who end up with Darren Williams, giving a future All-Star point guard to a team that is already loaded for the future. That is going to be very interesting, as is our change in pick number 4.
With the 4th pick in the 2005 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Bobcats select Chris Paul from Wake Forest University.
Yes, Chris Paul will now have the chance to build up the Charlotte Bobcats franchise. Whether he will be successful, well, it's going to be an uphill battle, so we will see. As for our final major change, we have Danny Granger headed to the Houston Rockets with pick number 8. Because of some major injuries to Tracy McGrady, the Celtics do finish as only the 4th seed this season. The Sixers continue to do their thing and finish 2nd in the East behind Miami. However, let's talk about the Orlando Magic, because with Dwight Howard emerging into a first-time All-Star and with Melo emerging into one of the NBA's brightest young stars, the Orlando Magic finished with a 53-29 record and are the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Will their young legs allow them to take down a Philly team that has tons of playoff experience? We will soon see. As for the Western Conference, in terms of the teams that we've seen make changes, it is the Golden State Warriors who win an extra 23 games as their young core continues to dominate, and in particular, Gilbert Arenas showcases he is an offensive force. In a season that will not be forgotten anytime soon, Gilbert averages close to 30 points per game, and a lot of people think the Warriors are going to be championship contenders next season. As for this season, the Denver Nuggets have another great year. However, the 2006 season in general is really all about the established teams from real life. As while the Sixers are able to outlast the Magic in the Eastern Conference semifinals, it happens again. Kobe and Allen Iverson absolutely freak out on each other, and this time, it isn't minor news, it's all anyone can talk about. This means the Miami Heat end up sweeping the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the Heat go on to beat the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals. Steve Nash is still the MVP, Chris Paul is again Rookie of the Year, and let's head into the 2006 NBA Draft. Now, in this what-if scenario, the Knicks never traded for Eddie Curry because the Bulls did not have him, which means they're able to keep their pick, and with pick number 1, the New York Knicks get Andrea Bargnani. Bummer. Moving down to pick number 2, the Sonics steal LaMarcus Aldridge from the Blazers, who now pick Tyrese Thomas. And looking at Toronto at number 6, in real life, it was actually seen as a slight possibility that the Raptors were going to take Rudy Gay with the first pick in this draft, so it feels like a steal when the Raptors get Rudy at number 6. As for pick number 7, Houston originally traded their pick because they were good and did not need it. That is no longer the case, so they take Brandon Roy, who will eventually break their hearts. At pick number 11, Chris Paul does get some help with JJ Redick, and of course, we have to mention with pick number 5, the Lakers get a man who won them a championship in real life, Adam Morris. And by won them a championship, I mean, hey, at least he was there. Continuing on, we're in the 2006 offseason, and in the original real-life 2007 season, Allen Iverson was traded to the Denver Nuggets. Meanwhile, in Denver during this offseason, Chauncey Billups is about to be a free agent in the summer of 2007, and so the Denver Nuggets make sure they get value for him, while the Sixers see a chance to cut the cord between a fighting AI and Kobe, which means this trade goes through. Allen Iverson is traded to the Denver Nuggets in exchange for Chauncey Billups. Moving forward, in real life, it was the Grizzlies who stole Zach Randolph for Steve Francis. That does not happen. Instead, the Golden State Warriors have 2 stars in Gilbert Arenas and LeBron James, and a defensive stopper in Tyson Chandler, but they feel they need big man scoring, and so they move a then young and valuable Ike Diagu along with Tim Thomas and their 2007 and 2009 first-round picks for Zach Randolph, which is somehow a better package than Portland originally got. And finishing off here, the Rockets are in rebuild mode, and since they can't get Rudy Gay for Shane Battier, instead it's the Magic who attempt to make a move up the ranks with veteran talent and wind up with Shane Battier for a package centered around Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks of their own, which means we are now in the 2007 regular season where big-time moves have led to big-time changes. With Chris Paul leading the way for the Charlotte Bobcats, we do see the Charlotte Bobcats make the playoffs for the first time in the Chris Paul era, and let me just say, look out for Chris Paul and the Bobcats going forward. Meanwhile, the Sixers are not only the top seed in the Eastern Conference this season, but also Kobe Bean Bryant is the MVP of the entire NBA as he goes on an absolute warpath, is completely unstoppable, and overall just has potentially the best season of his career. And looking at future MVPs, LeBron is right there in the MVP race this season, as in the West, things look amazing for the Golden State Warriors, and they have true championship hopes, only Gilbert Arenas suffers a season-ending injury towards the end of this year. This means that in an old school kind of series, at least in our what-if scenario, the Philadelphia 76ers and the San Antonio Spurs end up playing in the 2007 NBA Finals, and at this point, the Sixers are just too good and take down the Spurs in 5 games pretty easily. Wrapping up the season, the Rookie of the Year is still Brandon Roy, though he's a Houston Rocket now, and we're at the 2007 NBA Draft, a draft made famous by the battle for the #1 pick. And in this new draft, it is the Memphis Grizzlies who select Greg Oden at #1. A pick that won't work out, but
with the second pick in the 2007 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Kevin Durant from the University of Texas.
Kevin Durant joins Andre Iguodala as a Chicago Bull, surely rewriting a lot of history in the process. Will KD and Iggy have the ability to one day lead Chicago further than Derrick Rose ever could? We will soon see. As for the rest of this draft, the Lakers grab Mike Conley at pick #4, Jeff Green goes to the Blazers at #5, Joakim Noah is picked by the Sonics at #9, and we're heading into the 2007 offseason, where already the Bobcats are done messing around with the rise of Chris Paul and sign Vince Carter in the offseason, and then use Emeka Okafor as the centerpiece of a trade for none other than Kevin Garnett, replacing Emeka with the original centerpiece of the Kevin Garnett deal in Al Jefferson. This offseason by the Bobcats is a big one, and so jumping into the 2008 season, let's talk about the Charlotte Bobcats as they turn heads across the league. With a new core that is ready to jump into championship contention almost immediately, the Charlotte Bobcats jump up 31 wins and finish 3rd in the Eastern Conference with 63 wins total behind the masterful point guard play of Chris Paul, along with the scoring provided by Vince Carter and the awesome defense of Kevin Garnett. Now, normally 63 wins would be good for 1st or 2nd place in the East, but first goes to the Philadelphia 76ers as Kobe again has an MVP season, while Paul Pierce is also absolutely unreal. This duo, along with the rest of their star-studded team, combined for an amazing 68 wins. However, the darling of the Eastern Conference is the Orlando Magic this season, as suddenly the Magic have legit shooters all around Dwight Howard, who was named to the first-team All-NBA, and Melo goes on a scoring rampage all season to help the Magic finish with 66 wins of their own. These playoffs are gonna be interesting. As for the West this season, the Warriors have another solid year, but simply underperformed because Gilbert Arenas misses the entire season with injuries, which is a shame. However, this season is all about the Denver Nuggets, who behind an emerging Darren Williams, along with Allen Iverson and Yao, dominate the Western Conference. Only Yao suffers a season-ending injury and he is unable to play in the playoffs. This means in the West, it is LeBron James who is able to finally rally his team and lead them to an insane NBA Finals run where they will face, well, let's get into that. In the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Bobcats and Magic fight in an absolute war to earn a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. Chris Paul goes off in Game 1 with 26 points and 17 assists in a Bobcats win, but then Melo records an amazing 51 points in Game 2 to send a huge message. Eventually, this will go down to 7 games, and in Game 7, the Magic knock down their shots and Dwight finishes with a monster 28-point, 22-rebound, 6-block performance, and it is the Orlando Magic who face off against the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. In this series, many expect yet another battle, but to put this simply, Philly is a well-oiled machine at this point. They cruise past an awesome Magic team as Kobe and Paul Pierce are both able to score in bunches, Chauncey sets the tone as an incredible floor general, and Rasheed just makes big plays when he's called upon. This sets up something that never happened in real life, a Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James NBA Finals. And in Game 1, LeBron shows he's up for the test as he puts up 44 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds in a near legendary performance as he leads the Warriors to a Game 1 upset. Much like Allen Iverson in real life though, during the 2001 NBA Finals, this proves to be a one-time deal, and the Sixers do win the next 4 games as the Warriors are just overmatched without Gilbert Arenas. And if you're counting at home, that's ring number 5 for Kobe, and Kevin Durant does still win Rookie of the Year as a Bull. As for someone who is no longer a Chicago Bull, well, we're in the 2008 draft, and
First pick in the 2008 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
Derrick Rose is now on the Los Angeles Lakers. What a story, what a pick. Will the Lakers be able to take advantage of Derrick Rose's window of excellent play before his injury? That remains to be seen. As while other changes like OJ Mayo to the Pacers, Eric Gordon to the Grizzlies, and Robin Lopez to the Bulls do matter, they aren't anything too crazy. Meanwhile, in the 2008 offseason, the Lakers finally sense a chance to start winning games again, which means they center a package around Mike Conley and future future picks in a trade for Pau Gasol with the Grizzlies. This is huge, and we'll see a change in the Lakers take place almost immediately, which we will get into, but as for now, in the 2009 season, we are starting with the Philadelphia 76ers, who, to put this bluntly, have a disappointing year. Because while Kobe, Pierce, and Billups still play very well, Rasheed Wallace has just gotten too old at this point, and he struggles this season. Luckily for Philly, he is on an expiring contract. Meanwhile, with Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala, the Bulls actually lose 13 more games as they no longer have the core makeup of their original 2009 roster, and the Pacers also take a massive hit with 15 more losses. The big winners this season are the Charlotte Bobcats, who again take a huge leap forward and finish second in the Eastern Conference with 60 wins, and the Orlando Magic, who are on a mission this year. Dwight wins Defensive Player of the Year and is first team All-NBA again. Melo proves to be a walking bucket, and the Magic earn the top seed in the Eastern Conference with 65 wins. Now, looking at the West, the Warriors continue to play better than they did in real life. However, without Gilbert, the team just can't reach its full potential, and LeBron is rightfully angry. The Lakers this season rebound in a big way as they go from the #1 pick all the way to the #4 seed as Derrick Rose wins Rookie of the Year, while Pau Gasol has a great season in his first year in LA. Like always, the Denver Nuggets are right there in the championship hunt, and this is very shocking. The Houston Rockets, behind Al Jefferson, Danny Granger, who averages over 25 points per game in an All-Star season, and Brandon Roy, who also makes the All-Star team, finish as the top seed in the Western Conference. Unfortunately, Al Jefferson will miss the playoffs with an injury, so the Rockets don't make the finals, and Yao Ming gets hurt during the actual playoffs, so the Nuggets are out as well. This means the Lakers, with a rookie Derrick Rose, make it all the way to the NBA Finals in what ends up being one of the best rookie seasons we have seen in a very long time. In the East, Philly does get taken down by the Bobcats in round 2, which means we have a Charlotte versus Orlando Eastern Conference Finals, and again, Orlando is just on a mission this season. Dwight is dominant defensively. Joe Johnson comes through with a huge series that sees him average 26 points and 8 assists per game, and the Orlando Magic reach the NBA Finals against the Lakers just like in real life. However, this time, the situations are reversed. In the finals, Los Angeles can't find a way to stop Melo, and Derrick Rose struggles at times under the spotlight, which means the Orlando Magic finally break through, and it is Carmelo Anthony who wins a championship before LeBron James. By the way, though, LeBron is still named MVP of the league on the Warriors. And so, guys, we are now in the final draft of part 2, where we have a change immediately.
With the first pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Blake Griffin.
Yes, with the first pick in the 2009 draft, Blake Griffin will now be taking his talents to the Sacramento Kings, and so maybe, possibly, the Kings could end up being good in this what if? Seems like a stretch, but we're going to see. Going down the draft, Tyreek ends up with the Pacers, the Clippers replace Blake with, Hasheem Thabeet, and then there's this.
With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
Steph Curry is now on the Chicago Bulls with Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala. Guys, I can guarantee you that in part 3 of this what if, things are going to be crazy. The Bulls, with that big 3, have a potential dynasty on their hands, and with that said, looking at the landscape going forward, I can't wait to see what happens. The Sixers need to make some changes to stay in contention. The Warriors need to get LeBron some more help or he might leave. The Bobcats are just a player or two away from possibly winning a championship with Chris Paul, and the Magic look like they're here to stay. What happens next? Make sure you're subscribed with post notifications turned on so you can find out in part 3. Also, guys, it would be awesome if we could hit that 20,000 like goal. These what ifs do take a lot of time. It would be much appreciated, and if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it, and as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're gonna love it, and other than that, have a great day and peace.